Hello, good evening, Akansha.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me,
Hello.
dear? Hello, can you hear me, dear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Today your camera is not on, Akansha.
Ma'am, I'm in my laptop. 1 second.
Yeah. It's on, dear now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Akansha, how are you doing? It's good?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Akansha. In the last lecture, I have given you certain homework, right? But the
Yes.
thing was that the diagrams was not drawn about the double
Yes.
fertilization, isn't it? Yeah. So the thing is that Akansha, we was discussing, but I said I'll be telling you in lecture itself. So I want to tell you that, dear, that whether it has been written, whether you have to draw a diagram or you don't have to draw the diagram, if it is not mentioned, then also you have to draw the diagram. You should make the habit of doing that.
Ma'am, I thought that in brief question like 5 marks or 8 or 6 marks, in
Hmm.
that we have to draw the diagram. But I
Mhm.
thought that would be of 3 marks, so we don't have to draw.
No, when it comes for a double fertilization, right? When they tell
Yes.
you to just, whenever it is coming for describing the double fertilization, right? One
Yes.
thing you should remember, Akansha, you should describe it. But even with description, you should write it the significance also because it is accepted in exam, right?
Okay.
And therefore, you have to draw the diagram. Hence, from today onwards, you need to remember whether it is 2 marks question, whether it is 3 marks, whether it is 4 marks, whether it is 5 marks, whatever marks question is there, you have to draw the diagram, right? Only
Okay.
the thing is, remember one thing, only the one marks, like answer in one sentence, right? MCQs, this you shouldn't draw the diagram. You need not draw the diagram over there. But whenever it is for 2 marks, it is for 3 marks, 4 marks, 5 marks, 8 marks, okay, so you have to draw the diagram, whether it is mentioned or whether it is not mentioned.
And
Your
because in CBSE we didn't used to draw diagram. It was like
Yeah.
mentioned, like draw the
Ye-
diagram and label it and then
yes.
explain it.
Yes. Now, dear, let me tell you one thing that is in state board also. Sometimes this people says that okay, it's fine because now we are also following the CBSE pattern, same pattern we are following, right?
Okay.
But you don't know the mind of the moderator, right?
Yes.
Okay. Even the examiners doesn't know. We correct the paper
Yes.
according to that way, and after that, when moderator talk to us or when we get a paper correction, that time when moderator talk to us, the moderator tell us though it is not written, but you have to give the marks of the diagram.
Okay.
Okay. So what we do, that we know that we should tell our students from prior before, because we don't know what moderator thinks and what moderator is going to say.
Yes.
So the thing is, we make our students from before only attentive and from before only perfectionist, that you dear, you have to draw the diagram, whether it has written or not written. The thing is, you have to draw the diagram, because when the student is clever, when the student is brave, we don't want that student should lose the marks.
Okay.
Okay, so we already give. If suppose in case the diagram is right and the answer is carrying certain marks, the answer is going wrong, or there is so many mistakes in answers, so there are chances that examiners, what does the examiners do? Okay, the diagram is perfect, the diagram has been drawn right, and the content has been going little bit wrong or out of the topic, so we give you the marks, right?
Okay.
So that's why the thing is that you have to be very perfect in biology paper. And biology paper itself, it is a paper of the diagram, dear, right? So
Okay.
you need to draw the diagram,
Okay.
all right, whether it is mentioned or whether it is not mentioned. Always
Okay.
remember, Akansha, whenever there is a question, give a systematic diagrammatic representation, or it is given, give the systematic representation of the double fertilization. So what are you going to do? You are going to just draw the diagram. Okay, now it is fine, but when it is coming to photosynthesis or it is coming to the respirations like chapters, right? Now your FYJC is done, your 11th standard is done. But if in case if you're giving CT, bio CT, or you're going for AIPMT or NEET, you should always remember, dear, that you should have that habit of whenever they are telling you have to draw systematic representation, you have to just show the systematic representation in a way of diagram. Understood?
Okay.
All right. No need to describe it, but at least draw the diagram.
Okay.
Understood? Very often after few whenever when we will be completing with the chapters, like now
Yes.
furtherly we will be dealing with a chapter like inheritance and variation I will be taking, right? So
Okay.
all these chapters when I'll be dealing with, we have a certain flow charts, like we have a monohybrid cross, we have a dihybrid cross, right? In that I'll be putting a question like, give me a systematic representation of monohybrid cross, right? So at that time what you are going to do, you are just going to show the crosses
Okay.
system. We don't have in this, right? In this chapter, in this
Yes.
chapter we have diagram and we have a theoretical part.
Yes.
Understood? So we deal with that. Only the thing is that I want to tell from further onwards, please do remember, right? Now almost we are on a verge of finishing of the chapter. Now I'll be putting a
Yes.
random questions. All right,
Yes.
random question means what? I'll be putting before topics also and the presenting
Yes.
topic which we have completed also, because at last I'll be taking your exam, right? So in exam, I don't
And
want that. Yeah,
when will be the test? Because sir said that there's going to be vacation, I
yeah,
think.
after vacation only you'll be having your test,
Okay.
because this is a major chapter. And always in a bio I don't go for a half test, right? I
Okay.
go for a test whenever the chapter is completed as a whole.
Okay.
Okay, so the chapter weightage is also, we are satisfying the chapter need also. We are satisfying with the proper test marks also, because I can put the test questions wherever I want, right? So
Yes.
which are necessary, which are important, we can put it according to that manner, right?
Yes.
So maybe the chapter, the test will be of more marks, right? Because it is a major chapter. Okay, because I want to cover up the whole of the questions. So at last we will be conducting the test. That's why I said you that, Akansha, now major part of this chapter have been completed, right?
Yes.
So the thing is, you need to start studying.
Okay.
Okay, so this chapter is finished. As soon as, if the next day is Sunday or the upcoming Sunday, whenever the Sunday is coming in that whole week, whenever we are completing this chapter, so you will write down your test. All
Okay.
right, because test papers are already ready with me of HSC
Okay.
board. So I'll just give you. All
Okay.
right, means I'll just give it to sir and sir will tell you that how to write down the test and everything.
Okay.
All right. Now let's begin with our lecture, dear. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, Akansha, today we are going to start with our pollinations, right? The
Yes.
pollination which we are supposed to see. Let me share a screen with you.
Shall I off the video because I'm going to write today, make notes.
It's
Because I
okay,
was
dear.
having,
It's okay. It's okay. You can do that.
okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't have the PDF.
It's okay. It's okay, dear. Not a problem. Not an issue.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry.
Yes.
There are so many of students who are like, they keep their camera on and they write it down. Okay. So don't worry. You can write it down.
Ma'am, can you also send me the PDF because some diagrams are not there in the textbook?
Okay. So you want that I should send you this whole of the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, ma'am, as it is possible.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll send you. Can only share with me your mail ID. Okay.
Okay, because
Yeah.
in the textbook when I was reading, the whole is not there.
Yes.
They have
Yes.
just given from upper se.
Yes, they have just given upper upper. So that's why the main aim, whenever if you will note it, I first clear with your whole of the basics, right? And then I
Okay,
refer to the further. That's why, because see, textbook what they do, they just give you the upper upper say and rest all they think that you know, right? Which it is not like that. All right, dear. Yeah, yeah. Akansha, your camera got off, dear. Is it like that something?
yes, ma'am, I was making notes, so that's why I thought of keeping the camera off. Is it
It's a,
okay?
is it, you keep your camera on itself. It's okay, dear. You can make your notes by keeping on. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Some of my students, they do the same way. They keep their
No, ma'am,
camera
mostly
on.
I connect to my phone, but today my phone was not
It's
charged, so
okay.
I connected to
It's okay,
laptop.
dear. It's okay. Not a problem. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, most of the students, whenever I conduct the lectures in colleges also, they keep their camera on and they write down the notes whatever they want, or they note it down. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, it's right,
Yes.
it's all right. Okay, now Akansha, let's start with the pollinating agents, right? In a
Yes.
last lecture, dear, we have already studied with the pollination. We have studied types and agencies, right? We have seen the
Yes.
pollination. Pollination is of two types, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination, isn't it? In
Yes.
self-pollination, I said you the transfer of the pollen grains has been done within a same flower or on a another
Yes.
flower, but of a same
Same
plant.
species.
Yes, on a same
Yes.
plant species. Self-pollination is of two type dear, that is autogamy and zettanogamy, right? Autogamy means it is transferring of pollen grain from anther to the stigma. The pathway is same, but on a same flower. Example, our
Yes.
green pea plant. The scientific name of the pea plant is, Akansha, can you give me the scientific name of pea plant here?
Uh,
Pisum sativum.
yes, Pisum sativum.
Yes, the name
It's a
is
bit,
Pisum.
yeah.
Yes, the name is Pisum sativum. Now, Akansha, you should have an habit of remembering the scientific name, dear. Okay, so
Yes.
the pea plant name, it is common name is green pea, and the scientific name is Pisum sativum.
Sativum.
Right, yeah. Now
Yes.
the zettanogamy, the second part, the second type of the cell pollination is zettanogamy. It is a transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma, right? But the flower is another but present on a same plant. Okay,
Okay.
autogamy means what? The pollen grain has been transferred barabar from anther to stigma,
Yes.
pathway will be same but on a
Yes.
same flower. ब्रांचेस है, ब्रांचेस पे फ्लावर्स है, उसी पे क्या होने वाला है, उनका पॉलिनेशन एक्टिविटी होने वाला है. जिटनोगैमी में क्या होगा, सेम प्लांट बॉडी, लेकिन ब्रांचेस सिर्फ एक ही
Upper
होता है
nature.
कि ऊपर नीचे, बराबर. तो जो
हाँ.
एंटर टू स्टिग्मा का जो पाथवे है वो अलग अलग फ्लावर पे वो लोग ट्रांसफर करेंगे.
Okay.
Okay, Akansha. So this is a pathway. Then we saw about a cross pollination. Cross
Yes.
pollination, again transfer of pollen grain. Pathway is same from anther to stigma, but on
Yes.
another flower and on different plant. Okay, the plant is
Yes.
of different. मतलब एक रोज प्लांट अगर यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है तो दूसरे रोज प्लांट पे जाके वो लोग अपना क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन करेंगे. All right. Now,
Yes.
this cross pollination is of two types, that is xenogamy and hybridization. Okay,
Yes.
xenogamy means what? Whenever the pollination is carried out between two flowers, okay, but those two flowers are of the same species. Okay, दोनों भी फ्लावर है लेकिन वो सेम स्पीशीज के है, उसे हम बोलते हैं xenogamy. And the example is papaya plant. Hybridization means whenever there is a cross pollination, it is carried out. The pathway is same anther to stigma, but it is carried out between the two flowers which are of the different species, right? Example is a cotton plant. All right. हाइब्रिडाइजेशन का क्या होता है, कोई भी क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन हम कर सकते हैं, लेकिन वो क्या है, आपको फ्लावर्स रहेंगे लेकिन दोनों भी फ्लावर्स अलग अलग स्पीशीज के रहेंगे, right?
Yeah.
For example, like shoe flower. Okay, now into our nature the shoe flower is red, yellow, white, right? This we have so many
Yes.
colors. So the thing is that the shoe flower, hibiscus rosa sinensis, usually we call it two and red color shoe flower, right? What about the white color and yellow flower, yellow color? The species are different, right? But the
Yes.
genus is same, isn't it?
Yes.
They are the hibiscus, but the species will be different. So what they do it, so they transfer from the different species. So the red color pollen grains will be transferred to the white color pollen grains.
Okay.
Okay, so this kind of an pollination will be carried out. All right, so it depends upon the plant how the hybridization means, how the cross pollination have been conducted and how they are going to give the color of the flower, right? And therefore if we are thinking that what if that plant is of what, if that plant is of the red color flower, or agar दूसरा hybridization process हो रहा है डिफरेंट नॉर्मल हाइब्रिडाइजेशन प्रोसेस हो रहा है तो उस पर रेड कलर ही फ्लावर आना है. लेकिन अगर हमने उसमें वेजिटेटिव प्रोपोगेशन से दो ब्रांचेस ज्वाइन किए हैं तो इट डिपेंड्स विच ब्रांच इट इज प्रेजेंट. If the branch it is of the white color, so the white color is going to come. If the branch is of the red color, so the red color flower is going to come.
Okay.
Understood? But it is only going to happen into the vegetative propagation, which is belonging to cutting and grafting.
Yes.
Understood, Akansha? And in
Yes.
this hybridization, whichever color flower is that plant is belonging to, that same plant flower it is going to give you. Understood?
So,
Because
Miss, which color will it occur? Because it is a different species.
yes, so the thing is, as I said you, right? So for example, like now you know the pollen pistil interaction, isn't it?
Yes.
Pollen pistil interaction, what it is doing? Pollen is deposited on pistil, that is, it is
Yes.
deposited on stigma. What stigma
Yes.
did? जो पोलन ग्रेन्स मेरा है वो मैं रख लूंगी और जो मेरा
हाँ.
नहीं है मैं उसे डीजनरेट कर दूंगी. समझ में आया?
हाँ.
वैसे ही ये हाइब्रिडाइजेशन में होता है. भले ही रेड कलर का पोलन ग्रेन्स जाके अगर व्हाइट कलर के शू फ्लावर पे अगर जर्मिनेट हो रहा है स्टिग्मा पे, लेकिन स्टिग्मा बहुत ही अपना दिमाग यूज करता है. वो क्या कहता है? जो मेरा है वो मैं वो रख लूंगा. ओके.
Okay.
एंड द थिंग इज भले ही वो डिफरेंट इससे हो रहा है बट विच एवर
हाँ.
इज ऑफ माइन आई विल कीप इट, रेस्ट ऑल आई विल डिजनरेट इट.
Yes.
अंडरस्टूड? इसलिए मैं कब से कह रही हूँ कि अगर वो व्हाइट कलर का शू फ्लावर है तो व्हाइट कलर का ही फ्लावर देना है. ऐसा नहीं
Okay.
होगा कि रेड कलर से आया जरूर है लेकिन उसका रोल कुछ नहीं है उसमें.
Okay.
Understood? Why this has
Yes.
been counted into this pollination activity? Because in nature it is happening. All right, in nature such kind of a role is played. So it is necessary to show to the people that even nature is playing role into all such kind of an pollination, isn't it? Because
So,
insect does. Tell me. Yes.
means so if means the pollen grain of red flower
Yes.
goes to stigma of white flower, but they
Yes.
are same flower like hibiscus,
Yes.
but different color. So
Yes.
pollination means fertilization will occur further
No.
or no?
No, it
Okay.
won't happen. Okay, it won't happen
Okay.
because the color difference is there, isn't it?
Yes.
But same thing if I and you are doing into a vegetative propagation, it is going to happen because one
Okay.
plant is having two different plants, two different colors
Yes.
flowers. It is going to happen on that, understood? But it
Okay.
will not happen on this normal hybridization, which is natural hybridization process.
Okay.
Understood? In this
Yes.
way, the flowers plays important role into the nature. Okay,
Okay.
why we have included into our syllabus? Because the scientists have studied this, right? And the thing is that it is definitely happening into the nature also.
Okay.
All right. So scientists is like, we have to know, we have to say. Researchers are like, if we are not going to say, then how the people are going to understand that what
Yes.
is happening into the nature, isn't it?
Yes.
That's why they have put it, and that's why we are studying about gynogamy, xenogamy, autogamy, right?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So the thing is, Akansha, one more thing we are having it. If you will refer to your page number, wait a second here, I'll tell, yeah, page number 9 of your chapter number first. All right. If you will see,
Yes.
that is, we have a decogamy. Got it? Page number 9, decogamy.
Yeah, decogamy.
Yes. So what is the meaning of an decogamy, dear? In this decogamy, the pathway is same. Okay, from anther to stigma, they are going to.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Akansha.
Yes.
Okay, but the thing is that whenever this stigma get mature, right, where it is happening? It is happening into a bisexual flowers. Bisexual flower means what, dear? When both the sexes are present on a same flower. Understood? Androecium, gynoecium, both sexes are present on a same flower. Understood? On
Okay.
a same plant. Getting my point?
Okay.
So this decogamy is going to happen. Pathway is same. Pollen grain is going to travel from anther to stigma, But whenever the stigma get matures, right, so the stigma is going to play its role. Understood? Usually you will see this into a bisexual flower. Why this has been played role? Because to prevent a self pollination. Understood? What
Okay.
this flower says, we don't want to do the pollination by our own. We want that our pollination should be done by the other interventions. Other interventions means the other into a nature or the human interventions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like for example, when we are doing a vegetative propagation, we have a technique called as an emasculation. Which technique? Emasculation.
Emasculation.
Yes. Now this emasculation, Emasculation, emasculation. Now this emasculation technique, it is followed by this emasculation technique, what it is called as an removal of anther is called as an emasculation. Okay, now who is going to remove? We the people, isn't it? Because
Yes.
when we are trying to develop a new flower or to invent a new flower into the nature, what are we going to do? We are going to conduct the artificial hybridization, right? And in that artificial hybridization, I planned out that we are going to develop a purple color rose, right? Now
Yes.
how it is possible for purple color rose? So I have to prevent first pollination, right? How will I prevent the pollination? First I'll remove the anther from where the pollen grain is going to travel. Okay, and what will I do? I will cover that flower with the help of a polythene bag, right? And after covering that bag with a polythene bag, at a respective day, okay, I decided on a third day I'll bring some other purple color flower and I'll dust it on that rose plant.
Okay.
Everything I kept same, only I have dusted the purple color flower pollen grain. Why? Because I want a purple color rose. So what that flower will do, that pollen grain will do, that pollen grain will see, oh, this rose is having male and female whorls. Yes, they are having. Okay, only the thing
Yes.
is anther has been removed from it, right? So rest
Yes.
all character it is having, only the color character is not showing, right? So this color character is not showing. That color flower is there, it is going to put its own character in that. Understood? Soon we will be looking into the inheritance and variation chapter. How is it possible, right? And by doing that, all this process, what will happen? I'll get a purple color rose also, right? But how is
Okay.
it possible? It is possible by doing emasculation technique. Even sometime I don't want that my flower should do pollination activity. What will I do?
Yes.
I'll remove the anther. ओके, और मैंने एंथर निकाल दिया तो पोलन ग्रेन ही ट्रैवल नहीं होगा, तो उसमें पॉलिनेशन होगा क्या? नहीं होगा, बराबर? अब मैंने ऐसे क्यों किया? क्योंकि मुझे कोई और आर्टिफिशियल हाइब्रिडाइजेशन टेक्निक करनी है। समझ में आया? So this is
हाँ.
what this technique is called as an emasculation. So same thing in dicogamy. This dicogamy has been invented by our human intervention. Human intervention means we the human beings have been developed this. Why? For the reason is for a hybridization purpose, for a
Okay.
artificial hybridization purpose.
Okay.
Understood? From this what it will be happening, it will be like what, whichever quality flowers, whichever quality, desirable qualities means जो कोई भी qualities हमें चाहिए हमारे plant में वो हमें मिल सकते हैं। समझ
Okay.
में आया? So dicogamy क्या है? Dicogamy is firstly used for a preventing self pollination. Second thing is, it is in this the stigma get mature first and it is only happening into a bisexual flower. Bisexual flower means androecium and gynoecium are present within a same flower. Okay, male and
Okay.
female whorls are present on a same flower.
So dicogamy happens in bisexual flowers.
Yes, the dicogamy
Okay.
happens in bisexual flowers. Okay,
Okay.
so this dicogamy has been divided into two, if you will see. First one
Yes.
is protandry and
Yes.
second one is protogamy.
Yes.
Okay, in this protandry, it is what? In this type, the androecium matures first, then gynoecium. Means what? The male reproductive whorl matures first, rather than gynoecium. Okay, this activity is seen into a protandry. All right, so the example is what? Sunflower. What is the scientific name of sunflower, Akansha?
Um,
Helianthus anus. What is the name? Helianthus
yes,
anus.
and
Okay, H E, H capital, Helianthus, Helianthus anus. Small a, double N, US. Underline it because it is a scientific name. Okay. Helianthus is what? Helianthus is genus, Anus is species. Whenever the genus is present, it is represented by a capital letter. Anus is represented in a small letter because it is a name of the species. Whenever
yes,
you are writing a scientific name, you should underline it. Okay, this is a
okay,
rule of the binomial nomenclature which we have studied in whom, which we have studied in the 11th standard, that is FYJC. Okay,
yes.
diversity in organisms. Now, what is the meaning of an protogamy? In protogamy, gynoecium matures first, then androecium.
Miss, this dichogamy and all, like what are these? Like this comes under category of
Yes, this come under the decogamy comes and see into our nature. If you will see now, we have a flowers of two types. Okay,
yes,
means rather than flower, I'll say the plant. One plant is like an bisexual and one is unisexual. Like
yes,
bisexual, now I said you that both male and female are present on a same flower, means on a same plant. Understood? It is called as an bisexual. Okay, so in that bisexual also you have to see that whether this androecium is getting mature first or gynoecium is getting mature first. Why we have to see the who is getting mature first? The reason behind that, for doing the fertilization process, okay, the pathway of the pollination will remain same from anther to the pollen grain. All right, but even the fertilization,
anther to the pollen grain.
sorry, anther to the stigma.
Okay,
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 yeah, anther to the stigma. But
yes,
the main thing is what? The main thing is the fertilization activity, isn't
okay,
it? Depending upon that हम एक अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि हाँ अभी ये गाइनोशियम मेच्योर पहले हुआ है, तो हमारा फर्टिलाइजेशन कितने टाइम में, कितने दिन बाद होगा. Understood? So depending upon that we will see. Now for example, like papaya plant, okay, they are unisexual. If you will
yes,
see, certain plant is like, okay, only one male is present. And if you will see now, if we are walking from a road or something, or from a garden, if you will observe, some of the papaya plant, they just gives a flower. Okay, that flower doesn't get converted into fruit of papaya plant. Why is it so, dear? Because that papaya plant just consists of an male kind of an flowers, and just only the male whorl is present on that.
okay.
Getting me? And if you will see the other papaya plant, you will see, oh my god, this papaya plant is giving fruits.
So how
Okay,
does then fertilization take place if
yeah,
only androecium is present?
via cross pollination.
Okay,
Okay, now cross pollination is what? See, transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. Another
yes,
flower present on different plant body.
okay.
समझ में आया? So the
Huh.
thing is, male pollen grains have been transferred to the wherever the female plant body is present.
Then it should be like grown on female, na? Body.
Yes, huh? So the thing is, the male has been pollen grain has been traveled to the female,
Yes.
right? So that female plant only we get it papaya fruits.
And what about the male then?
Male flower just only flowers. They don't have
Oh,
the
okay.
gynoeciums. Okay, they are
Okay,
just
okay,
consisting of an androecium.
okay.
Okay,
Yes,
whenever you observe on this papaya plant, so on this papaya plant, the flowers which are present, they will never ever fruit, they never ever they will give you the fruit, because they are unisexual.
okay.
Understood? Because male is present on different plant body and the female is present on different plant body.
Yes,
Okay, so via insect or via wind pollination, the pollen grains are going to transfer.
yes.
Understood? So this is the thing. Normally protandry and protogamy are looked into the bisexual flowers only. Why? Because we have to see who get mature first. That's why we studied. Now protandry means what? Where the androecium get matures first. Okay,
Yes.
then the gynoecium gets matured. And protogamy means
Yes.
what? Where the gynoecium matures first and then the our androecium.
Okay.
Understood? So this is happening only in a bisexual that is into a dichogamy. Okay.
Okay.
If you will talk about the unisexual, there is nothing we can talk it, because the reason is both the sexes are present on different plant body.
Okay.
Understood, Akansha?
Yes.
Okay. So this is, excuse me. So this is the thing. All right.
Okay.
Now let us move further. That is, there are certain pollinating agents into our nature. That is, the pollinating agents are divided into two, that is biotic and abiotic. If we will see biotic, the biotic, it is a what? Biotic, it is a natural means the pollination which is done by a living organisms.
Living things.
Yes, living organism, living things. So they are whom? Insects, birds and bat. Okay. So whenever, can you hear me, Akansha? Can you hear me, Akansha?
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
your video got lagged and voice also.
Yeah, that's why I stopped it, that I got to know. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the biotic, in biotic we include insects, we include birds and we include bats, right? Now this
Yes.
insect, whenever there is an insect pollination is done in scientific way, in scientific manner, the insect pollination is named as an entomophilous flower. Okay, so we called it as an entomophilous pollination.
Okay.
Okay, so it is the type of pollination, we called it as an entomophily. Whenever the birds are doing the pollination on that flower, it is called as an what? Orthinophilous flower. And the type of pollination is called as an orthinophily. All right.
Okay.
After that, whenever the flower is having a bat pollination, we called it as an chireptilophilous flower. Okay, and the pollination is called as an chiraptilophily. All right. Okay, this was about biotic. When we talk about the non-living things, that is abiotic pollination, it has been done with the help of an wind and water, right? And
Uh,
yes,
so like insects can suppose biotic, then insects will carry the pollen grain to that in Thermophilus flower only or some other flower also.
other flowers also.
Okay, so that flower then is called
Yes,
Entomophilus flower.
now for example, like, okay, honeybee is there, right?
Yes.
Into our nature, we get honey of mango honey flavors, we get it, in honeys we
Yes.
get a jamun flavor, we get a mango flavor in honey, right?
Yes.
We get a tambourine, an imli wala, that is tambourine wala flavor also, like, right? We get a multiple flavors, even we get a rose, okay, rose honey, right?
Yes.
We get a multiple flavors in a honey also, isn't it?
Yes.
So what happened, whenever there is a pollination activity which is called carried out, like for example, plants are present, right? On that plants, whether the insect will be doing a pollination or the birds will be doing, right, or the wind pollination is happening, right? Now whenever, Akansha, the darker flowers are present, we will be looking the characters a few minutes before, right, after a few minutes. So the
Yes.
thing is that the darker color flowers are present on the plants. Why are they present? To attract the insects, right?
Okay.
So depending upon the flower colors, depending upon the plant structure, on that manner the pollination is done. So whenever, if you will see the darker color, the rose is dark in color, right?
Yes.
And they are the beautiful to see also, isn't it?
Yes.
So those pollination is carried out with the help of an insect and birds. Why is it so? Because they love the darker colors, right? And they
Yes.
attract the insects towards themselves. Understood?
Yes.
That's why if you will see the honeybee, okay, wherever
Yes.
there is a more, like, like smelly fruits also, like jamun, you take it, mango, you take it, right? All
Yes.
these guys are just moving beside that, all these smelly flowers and the flowers, fruits, with the fruits which are good, like watermelon also, isn't it? And all these insects like honeybee and everybody, what are they doing? They are doing the pollinations activity. They're carrying pollination, they're carrying the pollen grains behind their legs. And what they are doing, they are going to that plant and they are just depositing it. what is the duty of the stigma? जो अपना है वो रख लो, जो नहीं है वो निकल
हाँ.
जाएगा. समझ में आया? ऐसे होता है. Understood?
Okay.
Now you will see the characters, why these insects are doing such kind of a thing and how they get attracted towards themselves.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Now, the abiotic is of two types, that is a wind and water, right? So, whichever flower is having a wind pollination, all right, it is called as an anemophilous flower. Okay, never to get confused between the insect and wind. Insect, it is called as an entomophilous, and wind, it is called as an anemophilous.
Animal.
Okay, and the type of pollination is called as an anemophily. Water, we everybody know water is called as an hydro, so the water pollination flowers are called as an hydrophilous flowers, and the type of pollination is called as in the hydrophily. But the hydrophily have been divided into two. First one is hypohydrophily and second one is epihydrophily. Okay, Akansha?
Yes.
All right. So this all are the pollinations which we are going to study today itself. All right.
Okay.
Now let us move further. The first pollinating agent, now let me tell you one thing, Akansha, that is the pollinating agents which we are studying. It is not only important according to your theoretical point of view, but it is even important according to your practical point of view.
Okay.
Okay, because into the practical it is coming for identification purpose. All
Okay.
right. Now I all the colleges, they have the pictures of all these things. If the pollination on that flower, if the insect is shown, so you should know it is what, it is an which phyllis, entomo.
Entomophilus.
It is called as an entomophilus. If there is an, if they are showing a birds, then you should know it is called as an orthinophilus.
Orthinophilus.
Yes, see over here. Okay. Ornithophilus. All right. See over here. Ornithophilus flower. Okay.
Okay.
Bat. Chireptilophilus flowers. Okay.
Chiropterophilus flower.
Yes.
Okay.
Chireptilophilus flower. And the pollination is called as an chireptilophily. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So this all are important according to the practical point of view. So you have to
Yes.
identify and you have to write down 2 to 3 characters in it during the practical. So for
Yes.
identification, you get half marks, and for writing the characters, you get a half marks. Okay. In the
Yes.
in practical identification, you have 6 identifications, 6 spottings, and 6 spottings are for 1 marks. Okay. So 1 marks is bifurcated, half marks for identification, half marks for writing the characters. Half plus half is equal to 1. In this way, the 6 spottings are kept. All right.
Okay.
Now come here. The thing is that the first pollination which we are studying, that is a entomophilus.
Entomophilus.
Yes, entomophilous flowers. So the flower which pollination is taking place with the help of an insect, it is called as an entomophilous flower. And the pollination is called as an entomophily. Right? Now, what are the characters of the flower? How the flowers are seems to be? The flower is large, they are attractive. Okay. If the flower are small, then they are present in a form of the inflorescence.
Inflorescence.
Okay, what is the meaning of an inflorescence? Like, for example, we are having a shoe flower, right?
Yes.
On the shoe flower, dear, there is a tube like structure, right? We have a corolla. Corolla means
Yes.
petals,
Yes.
right? And then if you will see, we have a tube like structure on it. Okay.
Yes.
And on that tube-like structure, we have a bunch of the yellow color stigmas, anthers, and everything,
Yes.
right? So that yellow color stigma, that bunch which is present on that whole filament, what it is? It is a inflorescence. Inflorescence means what? The bunch of arrangement of flowers. Whichever
Okay.
flowers which are small and they are present in a bunch, it is called as an inflorescence. Like for
Okay.
example, roses are present in an individual form, right?
Yes.
One roses are present. But
Yes.
if you see certain flowers which are present in a group, which are present in a bunches, the whole flower, it is called as an what? They are wholly called as an inflorescence.
Inflorescence.
Okay, which are
Yes.
very attractive. So all this pollination is also carried out with the help of an home, with the help of an insect.
In,
But yes, but if you see the flower like a rose, how the flower like a rose is, it is large and attractive. Why?
yes.
Because insect can easily enter into that flower and deposit the pollen grains on the stigma.
Stigma.
Understood? And
Yes.
attractive because the darker color attracts the insect. Understood?
Yes.
This is a reason because they are present in the inflorescence, they are large and attractive. How is a flower? The flower color is bright, okay, with a pleasant fragrance, means with a sweet fragrance, and there is a presence of a nectar gland. Why the nectar glands are present? For the depositing of the honey also, right? The pollen grain is
Yes.
deposited. Pollen grain
Yes.
is what? They are getting swell with the help of an sugary substances, and later
Yes.
on those sugary substances are only converted into a sweet honey form, right?
Yes.
Sweet liquid form. So whole, it is showing what? It is showing a nectar glands. And how are the pollen grains of this entomophilous flowers? The pollen grains are spiny or rough. Why the pollen grains are spiny or rough? Because it can easily get stuck inside the insects, okay, on the
Okay.
backside of the insects, because the
Okay.
backside of the insects are too much smooth and soft, right? So for easily getting stuck and for easily becoming catchy, okay, so that it can get easily deposited on the stigma, so the pollen grain is having a spiny and a rough
Rough
hexine.
exine.
Yes. Akansha, what is the meaning of an hexine?
Exine.
Yes,
The
hexine.
outer covering of the pollen grain.
Very good, dear. Now, to receive pollen grain, stigma is sticky. We everybody know stigma
Yes.
consists of an sticky because it is consisting of an sugary
Sugary
substances,
substance.
so that pollen grain should get sticked easily. Now, what are the examples of these flowers of entomophilus? First one is jasmine.
Mm.
Okay. Second is resi. This is a outdoor flower, not Indian flower. Resi. We
Okay.
have it is salvia. Okay, it is not saliva. Okay, spelling mistake is there. Akansha.
VIA.
Yes, yes. Salvia. Wait, I'll tell you the spelling. S
Okay. SA
A L
L
V I A. Salvia.
VIA.
Okay, and the next is bougainvillea.
In
All right, bougainvillea, you know, the pink and white color flowers. Whenever we walk towards a building road or we walk from outside the bungalows, there are the protection plants which are present. They have a spiny and papery lichen flowers, very thin, pink color, white color. Even on a roadside, they are growing it. Okay,
okay.
I'll get a picture from net and I'll show you. All right. Normally, whenever I teach in front of students, I do a practical because I want that
Okay.
students should know that how the
Yeah.
yes, that how the stigma is present, how the filament is present. Definitely,
Yes.
when we will have a lecture, okay, by God grace, if we get a lecture in face to face, I'll bring the dissection box also. Usually, I do that in the classes, that I bring the dissection box, I bring the shoe flower, I dissect it and I show to the students. Because even students should know that how this dissection has been done, how this anther seems to
Yeah.
be, how the pollen grain seems to be, because students are more, they get more excited by looking there. Definitely, you
Yeah.
people do the practicals. Okay, this year you people
Yes.
have the practical of all these things. But the thing is that now due to Corona, and I have the video also, but I don't know that video is of more more GB. So I don't know whether it will come or not. So that's what still
Okay.
I'm finding out the alternative. I guess I have said you in the last lecture also. I have made a video so that students should see and they should get happy. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's see if how it gets possible. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So the thing is that, Akansha, so this all are the characters about what? This all are the characters about the entomophilous flower. All right. In exam, it is asked for 3 marks, and in practical, it is coming for a 1 marks, right? For identification purpose. Now, the next identification is, dear, that is adaptation of ornithophilous flowers. So, ornithophilous flower, the pollination is done with the help of an, Akansha,
Birds.
birds. And the ornithophilous flowers, the pollination which is done with the ornithophilous flower, the pollination is called as in,
Ornithophily.
very good, dear, it is called,
Ornithophil.
yes, ornithophily, it is called as
Philly.
an ornithophily. Okay. Now, what are the characters, what are the adaptations of this flower? Flower are large with thick and fleshy floral whorls. Fleshy, thick and fleshy means, if you'll observe the corolla, that is petals, it is thick, not thin. Okay, it is thicky, right? If you will see the sepals also, calyx also, it is thick. If you will see the stick, that is pedicel of that flower, it will be thick. Why?
Okay.
Because birds can easily take a support of that flower and they can deposit the pollen grains.
Okay.
Understood? That's why
Yes.
the flowers are large with a thick and fleshy floral whorls. Corolla is tubular or funnel shaped. Okay, the corolla means the petals are tubular or the funnel shape. If you can see the page number 8 in your test book, there, the ornithophily picture has been given.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yeah. So see the bird in a same way, dear, the way the bird has took the support of that flower, right?
Yes,
And the bird is depositing with the help of a beak, right? The beak is
yes,
present, and with the help of that beak, it is depositing the pollen grains. The reason behind that is what? The reason behind that is it should give a proper supporting, because birds are in a flying constant condition, right? So it
yes,
is not possible to give them a equilibrium in stabilized condition, right? So with the help of this flower, they can deposit it, the pollen grains very easily. That's why they are into the ornithophilous flower. The flowers are large and they are thick. And for the corolla is how they are in a tube form. They are in a shape of the tube form, or they are in a shape of an funnel shape. You know the funnel, dear?
yes, funny.
Yes, funnel, it is a glass shape and it is a plastic shape,
Yes,
right? It is in a this two forms, right? In a laboratory. In a
yes,
same shape, we have the corolla, that is petals of the flower. How are the flowers? Again, the flowers are bright, white for the attracting of the birds. The same way, the birds and the flower get attracted, the birds and the insects get attracted to the flower when the colors are bright. Therefore, the flowers are without fragrance. Okay, in ornithophilus, only the bird require a darker flowers to attract themselves. But the flowers are without fragrance because birds have poor sense of smell. Okay,
okay,
birds cannot smell very easily. They have a poor sense of smell. Comparison to insect require a darker color to get attracted, and even a
yes,
sweet fragrance. Okay, now
yes,
flowers are having a large amount of sugary nectar. Okay, the flowers which are having a pollination with the help of birds, you will see the flowers are produced in a larger number. The flowers are produced in a large, yeah, one second, Akansh, yeah, the flowers are produced in a larger number, and therefore the flowers are consisting a more amount of sugary substances. Why is it? Because even the birds can drink that nectar easily. Understood? Why? Because birds have a poor sense of smell. But by looking
yes,
towards a darker color, they go towards there for depositing the pollen grains, right? But whenever they reach towards there, what they do, they drink those sweet substances from stigma itself. Understood?
okay,
Even they like it. They are like they are having a relationship with the nature, that is give and take. If we are giving you the pollen grains, you give us the sweet substances also to drink.
okay,
Understood? Like that. That's why the sugary substances is present more. Pollen grains are sticky in this condition in ornithophilus because the birds are carrying it into a beak, right? So the pollen grains should be what? As soon as they reach towards that flower, they got the stigma, the soon the pollen grains should stick into that stigma. Understood? Can you hear me, Akansha? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me,
Yes, I can
Akansha?
hear you, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, I joined up with my other Wi-Fi connection also. I thought you can't hear me, that's why.
No, no,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. So the pollen grains are also in a sticky manner, right? The reason behind that, the sticky manner, are why as soon as the birds reaches, they find out the stigma, and after finding out the stigma, the pollen grain should get stick on that stigma with the help of the beak. That's why the pollen grains are also sticky of these flowers, right?
Okay.
Example is what? Example is bottle brush plant. Okay, the flowers are like a brush, the way we have a painting brush, right? Watercolor brush. In
Yes.
the same way, the flowers are like a brush. So they are called as an bottle brush plant. Okay. The next plant
Yes.
is Bigdonia, then Butea, and Bombax. Bombax plants is that plants which give you the resins, gum, right? Glue. The plants which give you the glue, they are called as in Bombax and Butea, right? So this all are the examples of the plants, of the flowers which are having the pollination of the orthinophilous flower. The common pollinating birds are, okay, who are the birds who pollinate into the ornithophilus, ornithophily, right? They are the sunbirds, they are the hummingbirds, then crow and bulbul. This all are the birds who do the ornithophilus, what? Ornithophily pollination. All right. Understood? These are the plants which we have given the name, and these are the pollinating birds. All right. These all are the birds who does the pollination, who are the best example for the ornithophilus pollination. Understood, Akansha?
Yes.
Okay. Now the next. Next is the Chireptilophilus flower. Chireptilophilus flower means what, Akansha? Pollination is done with the help of an
Bad.
bat. And the pollination is called as in.
Chiropterophily.
Yes, it is called as in Chirapterophily.
Chiropterophily.
Okay. Now, what are the characters and the flowers adaptation? Again, the flowers are large. They are stout enough. Stout enough means fat enough. Okay. So that
Okay.
bat can do the easily pollination. So that bat can health on the flower. See, means what? The bat can sit on the flower and it can deposit the pollen grains, right?
Okay.
Flower emits rotten fruit odor, very dirty fruit odor it emits, right? Means
Okay.
whenever get rotten means मतलब जो कुछ भी चीज सड़ जाती है, कभी भी फ्रूट सड़ जाता है, तो वैसे फ्लावर का स्मेल होता है, उसका
Okay.
fruit का स्मेल होता है. So that bat can easily get attracted and they can go and deposit the pollen grains.
Okay.
Flower produces captious nectar. Captious nectar means what? Very secretive nectar. Nectar. मतलब वो नेक्टर सिर्फ और सिर्फ बैट्स को ही पसंद आना है, बाकी इंसेक्ट को नहीं
Okay.
पसंद आना है, बर्ड्स को नहीं पसंद आना है, किसी को नहीं पसंद आना है. Okay,
Okay.
they produce a secret nectar. Only those nectars can be found out by our bat itself. Okay, flower have a large number of stamens to produce large considered number of the pollen grains. More amount of the anthers are produced. So more anthers, more production of the pollen grains, right?
Okay.
That's why you and I, we both know that what there is a presence of an more amount of an stamens. So stamens are related with anther. बराबर.
Yes.
Anther filament is equal to stamens, right? So
Yes.
large number of the stamens are produced. Okay, so that
Okay.
what they can produce a large number of the pollen grains itself. So the more
Okay.
activity of pollination is possible in Chirapterophilus flowers. Now, what is an example? Example is Kadamba, okay, and baobab tree. Kadamba is like, if you know almond, right? But the
Yes.
almonds which we eat, that is a different plant. Normally almond plant, you know that badam tree, when we walk from a garden and there are a lot more,
Yes.
yes, on that pollination it is carried out of the bat.
Okay.
Okay, and we called it as in kadamba also. All
Okay.
right, and we have a baobab tree. Baobab tree is very less over here, dear. Normally it is seen into a colder regions or semi-cold regions, not too not too hot and not too cold over there. We have a very
Okay.
less baobab tree. So the thing is that this baobab tree and kadamba, they have what? They have this chirapterophilus flowers, that is chirapterophily pollination.
Yes.
Understood? Okay. Normally, this pollination is carried out at a night time, not during a daytime, because you also know, I also know, that is what the bat, they,
Bats.
yes, their visibility is very less. It is very low during the daytime.
Yes.
Okay, their visibility is strong during the night time. So the pollination is carried out during the night time itself. All right. So we have
Yes.
completed with the three types of an pollinating agents of biotic
Yes.
agents. Okay. Firstly, we studied with a insect pollination. Insect pollination is called as an
Enotho
entomo.
entomophilus.
Yes. Okay. And then we studied with a bird. So the bird, it is called as an
Ortho
ornitho.
orthophilus.
Ornitho.
Ornithophilus.
Yes. And bat.
Bat. Keo
Chiraptero.
Chiripterophilus.
Yes. Okay. So
Chiripter.
the yes. So this are the three types of an pollination we have studied into whom? Into a biotic. Now let's
Yes.
start with the abiotic agents, right? That is the
Yes.
first thing which we are studying. That is a pollination which is carried out with the help of in wind, and hence it is called as an anemophilous flower.
Animophilus.
Yes, and the pollination is called as an anemophily, right? Now, the thing, what is the characters and adaptation of anemophily? Flowers are small and inconspicuous. Means what? They are too small, they are not having any color, they are not having any smell, they are very dull.
Yes.
Okay, conspicuous means what? They are very active. Okay, she's very active, she's very good, she's very beautiful, right? Means what?
Yes.
She's very, means very kind of, motivated person, right?
Okay.
What about this inconspicuous means?
Updated.
Yes, inconspicuous means it is dull, not ready to do
Okay.
anything. It is kiya fir bhi theek, nahi kiya fir bhi theek, means in that way these flowers are. Okay,
Okay.
these flowers are without fragrance and nectar grains, because they don't require nectar grains, right? It is wind, it is air, it is just
Yes.
blowing wherever it is necessary. All
Yes.
right. And the pollen grains, sorry, and the flowers are without bright color. Wind doesn't require any kind of a color to get attract. Okay,
Okay.
so flowers are also very light, dull. All right. Stamens are with long filament and versatile anther. What is the meaning of a versatile anther? Whenever the anther is having a two lobes, like for example, Akansha, I'll show you it.
Yes, two lobes, four lobes.
Yes, yes. No, we have only two lobes or single lobes. Okay, dear. Wait, I'll show you how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, an anther, you had told me.
Yeah, yeah. See, now this is my anther. So how many lobes are
Yes,
there? This is
two.
one and this is two. Okay.
Yes,
So we have a unilobed or we have a bilobed. All
yes,
right. Now this is what? This is a bilobed. Okay. But this anther is attached to the filament. You can see Akansha, right? So this is standing in a straight manner. Okay. And whenever this anther is in a what? In a clinging manner. Clinging manner मतलब क्या होता है? ऐसा hanging manner में होता है. ओके, कुछ भी ऐसा स्ट्रेट आंसर है. अभी ये मेरा हाथ है, बराबर, ये मेरा हाथ फिलामेंट है, और ये क्या है? हैंगिंग मैनर में आंसर है. इट इज व्हाट? इट इज एन वर्सेटाइल आंसर. Understood? Getting my point? Why
means
the,
it is hanging.
yeah, it is in a hanging.
Okay,
Now this is what? This is bilobed है, bilobed ही वो भी, versatile भी. Okay,
yeah,
लेकिन वो कैसा है? Hanging manner में. Why it is in a hanging manner, Akansha? Because the reason is whenever the wind is blowing, right? So the wind is having a high speed or low speed depending upon
yes,
the weather conditions. So whenever the
yes,
wind is blowing, with that wind the pollen grains are carried out. So this anther which is in a hanging manner, right? So the pollen grains get easily stuck on that hanging manner. Understood?
Okay.
अगर वो सीधा रहेगा, एकदम स्ट्रेट मैनर में रहेगा, तो वो उसका पोलन ग्रेन स्टक होगा क्या? नहीं होने वाला उस पे, बराबर है,
हाँ
क्योंकि वो सीधा है. इट इज इन एक्टिव फॉर्म,
हाँ.
कॉन्सिपिशियस फॉर्म, राइट? सो नथिंग इज गोइंग टू हैपन. When the flower is in conspicuous, they are going to have a versatile anther. Means what? The anther is into a bilobed, but it is into a hanging manner. So जब कभी भी
Okay.
विंड जोर से अगर बह रहा है या फिर मीडियम भी इसमें बह रहा है, तो क्या होगा? वो पूरा पोलन ग्रेन्स उसके साथ ट्रैवल कर रहा है, तो इजीली उस
Okay.
पे क्या हैंगिंग मैनर में इजीली स्टक्ड हो जाता है पोलन ग्रेन उसके पास. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why the reason is what the, it is whenever the anther is into a hanging manner, you should remember it is what? It is a versatile anther. All right. And even the
Yes.
versatile anther consists of an little bit hairy lichen body. Hairy lichen body means the outer body of this anther is consisting little bit hairs. Okay.
Okay.
Why? Because the pollen grains should get easily stuck, because even the pollen grains are spiny. The
Yes.
outer body is spiny, so that easily
Yes.
it should get stuck into the hairy body, right? So
Yes.
that's why it is what? It is having the hanging manner, that is versatile anther it is consisting of.
Okay.
All right, dear. Now to receive, oh, I am it entomophila, wait, a biotic. Yeah. So the stamens are with a long filament and versatile anther, right?
Yes.
As there is a wastage of pollen grain, because so many pollen grains are carried out with a wind, because wind doesn't know I have to carry today
Yes.
rose plant pollen grains, or today I have to carry a mango plant pollen grains, or today I
Yes.
have to carry whichever plant, right? When
Yes.
wind blows with a full speed and it carry all of the plants pollen grain. सो बाकी का काम अपना स्टिग्मा करता है, वो आपको पता है कि जो है वो मैं रख लूंगा, जो है उसे नहीं है उसे मैं निकाल दूंगा,
Yes.
right? So as there is a wastage of pollen grains, it has been done. So to compensate the wastage, pollen grains are produced in extremely large numbers. Okay, so they, on this anemophilous flowers, many more amount of the anthers are produced, and therefore with the anthers the large numbers of pollen grains are also produced, because how much ever it is wasted, so the plants can produce more and more amount of the pollen grain. तो वो दुख नहीं होना चाहिए कि अरे बाप रे आज जितना pollen grains waste हो गया, right? So nature have only made that plant in that way, that you will produce for a lifelong more and more amount of pollen grains. There will be a no regret of wasting the pollen grains, and all the pollen grains are the light in weight, so that it should be easily carryable with the wind.
Okay.
Okay, now to trap the pollen grains, the stigma of this anemophilous flower is feathery and bifid. Okay, feathery means what? On the stigma, there is a presence of little hair-like projections. Okay, and that hair-like projection is called as in feathery. Are you getting my point, Akansha?
Yes.
Okay, bifid means, I'll tell you what is the meaning of an bifid. Now, the stigma is having a two projections. Okay, yeah. Now, this is my stigma, right,
Yes.
Akansha? Okay. Now, this stigma which is present, now you always know that whenever the stigma, okay, the stigma is having the upper curvatures, right? Now,
Yes.
this stigma is towards down in curvature, isn't it? Now,
Yes.
whenever this stigma, instead of down, if it is having two time curvatures at the upper side, it is called as an bifid stigma. By
Oh,
means how
okay.
much? How by means how much? Two.
Two,
तो
two.
ये जो ऐसा नीचे स्लैंटिंग में कर्वेचर है, उसके जगह
Yes.
अगर यहाँ पे दो ऐसे कर्वेचर्स होंगे, तो हम उसे कहते हैं बाइफिड. और
Bifid.
यस, और ये बाइफिड स्टिग्मा आपको मिलता है हमारे, किस में मिलता है आकांक्षा? कौन से पॉलिनेशन में मिलता है बेटा?
Wind.
विंड में. उसको आप क्या कहोगे साइंटिफिक?
Anatomophilus.
एनिमोफिलिस. क्या?
Anemophilus.
ओके, यस.
Anemophilus.
Yes. Now, example is what? Example is, wait a second. Example
Grass.
is grasses, maize, jowar, and sugarcane. Okay. So, these all are the examples of the anemophilous flowers. All right. और आप
Yes.
ऐसा सोच भी सकते हो, ये कॉमन है, ग्रासेस के कभी भी डार्कर फ्लावर्स नहीं आते, एकदम लाइट कलर के फ्लावर्स होते हैं। मेज प्लांट के भी अगर आप देखोगे कॉर्न्स होंगे तो कोई कोई कॉर्न्स एकदम लाइट कलर के होते हैं क्योंकि उनके फ्लावर्स ही लाइट कलर के होते हैं। जोवार का भी
Okay.
वैसा ही है, एंड इवन विद शुगर केन ऑल्सो।
Okay.
All right. So that's why this all are the carried out with the help of an wind, which is an anemophilous pollination.
Yes.
Then we have a second type. It is called as an hydrophilous flower. Hydrophilous flower means the pollination which is carried out with the help of an water. It is called as an hydrophilous flower. So the pollination will be called as an Akansha.
Means pollination hydrophilus.
हाँ, फ्लावर को हम हाइड्रोफिलस कहेंगे क्योंकि उसका
Yes.
पॉलिनेशन हो रहा है वाटर से। अब पॉलिनेशन को क्या कहोगे? हाइड्रो।
Hydrophily.
Very good. Okay, it is called as an hydrophily. Now, this hydrophilous flower shows a certain adaptation, right? Now, there is a characters of these flowers. Flowers are unisexual, means both the sexes, that is androecium and gynoecium, are present on the different flowers, isn't
Different
it?
flower.
Yeah, bisexual means they are present on the same
Same
flowers.
flower.
Okay, and unisexual means they are present on a different flowers. They are
Yes.
small, they are inconspicuous. Again, no bright color, no smell, nothing. They are like we are present in a nature, we are happy, right?
Yes.
So they are inconspicuous. Flowers are
Yes.
without fragrance, bright color, okay, no bright color is present, and no nectar gland is present. All
Okay.
right. Pollen grains and other floral whorls, that is, other floral parts, are unweightable. Why are they unweightable? Because they are present inside the water, right? So they will be having what? They will be having a waxy coating, isn't it? That is with a coated with mucilage. Mucilage means what? Stickiness. The floral whorls are what? They are having a stickiness. Okay, they are having a waxy coating, wax like coating. How the oil is present? If I'll
Yes.
put a oil droplets into water, will they will get dissolved?
No.
They will float, isn't it? So
Yes.
that's why, hence these flowers are present in water, right? So that's why they are unweightable. Why are they unweightable? Because they are having waxy coating, or on the flower all the parts which are present, floral whorls which are present, they are having what? They are having the oiliness. Okay, oiliness. Mucilage means what? Oily and sticky kind of an coating they are having. So water
Okay.
easily get drain off. There will be a no presence of water on any parts of the body of that flower. All right.
Okay.
Now, this pollen grains, they have a specific gravity. Why are they having a specific gravity? To control the formation of one or more starch grain. Okay. Now, this pollen grains, they can produce many more starch sugary substances into their pollen grains because the sugary substances are easily dissolvable in water, isn't it? Starch. Starch is what? It is a sugar substance. So
Yes.
if this starch is present into the water, what is going to happen? It is going to get dissolved and the water is going to be sweet, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So that's why what do? They give us specific gravity. Specific gravity means even these pollen grains have a capacity to float it on the water, right?
Yeah.
And the starch which are formed, the starch grains which are formed, what it is happening? The starch grains are having that kind of an capacity that they are not at all easily dissolvable into the water due to their specific gravity, due to their floating
Okay.
power. Understood,
Okay.
Akansha? How is
Yes.
the stigma? Stigma is long and sticky. How is the stigma? Stigma
It
is
is
long.
long and sticky.
Yes. And this is a character of what? This is a character of hydrophilic
Hydrophilus flower.
flower. All right. Now, this
Yes.
hydrophilus flower has been divided into two. The first one is what? The first one is a hypohydrophilus flower.
Hypohydrophilus flower.
Yes, the
Hypo-
pollination, it is done with itself in water only. But whichever flowers, okay, whichever plant is present below the water surface, okay, जो वाटर सरफेस पे ही है, लेकिन वाटर में ही है, लेकिन वाटर सरफेस के ऊपर है, ओके, उसे हम क्या कहेंगे? हाइपोहाइड्रोफिलस फ्लावर. Getting my point?
Hypohydrophils. Okay.
Yes, all right. And in
Yes.
hydrophytes means पानी के बाजू में है या फिर पानी के यहाँ पे ही है लेकिन पानी के ऊपर है, पानी के अंदर नहीं.
अच्छा. Okay.
समझ में आया? पानी
हाँ
के
हाँ.
ऊपर है, पानी के बाजू में है, पानी के अंदर नहीं. हम पढ़ेंगे आगे अभी वो पानी के अंदर
Okay.
वाले. All right. So
Okay.
whichever they are present below water surface, okay, those hydrophytes. Hydro means what? Water. PHYTS, it's represent plants. Okay. कभी भी आप कोई भी स्पेलिंग PHYTES से एंड होते हुए देखते हो तो it represents plants. So
Yes.
whichever plants, whichever flower plants, the pollination is carried out, okay, or takes place below the water surface, okay, it is called as an hypohydrophily. Okay, how are the flowers of this hypohydrophily? They are what? They this flower produce pollen grain, but this pollen grains are having a little bit needle shape like structure. Why are they having a little bit needle shape like structure? Because they lack the outer coating, which is called as an hexine. All right.
Yes.
And this pollen grains, they bear what they are, even they are having their own specific gravity, means they can float
Yes.
on water very easily. All right, they can float on water surface very easily, so that it can prevent the star substance also. Such
Yes.
pollen grains, whenever it come with contact with the stigma, they coiled around it and then they germinate. Normal pollen grains में क्या होता है आकांक्षा? In normal pollen grains, the pollen grains come in a contact with stigma. They, if the stigma, if the pollen grain is it's of its own plant, so what does stigma do? Stigma give the nourishment in a form of sugar substances, and it gets swell and it starts germinating, isn't it?
Yes.
But in this case of the hydrophilus, which is hypohydrophily, इनके साथ क्या होता है? जब कभी भी पोलन ग्रेन स्टिग्मा के कांटेक्ट में आता है तो वो क्या होता है? कॉइल शेप बन जाता है, कॉइल्ड हो जाता है, and after
Okay.
getting coiling it, then it starts germinating.
Okay.
Understood? Because the pollen grain itself, they have to maintain their specific gravity also.
Yes.
All right. So there are certain plants, like example, that is Jasbera. Okay, the plant name is Jasbera. Okay, Zasbera, Jasbera, and Liglia
Cerato.
ceratophyllum.
Phylum.
Yes, Jasbera and ceratophyllum. These two are the plants of whom,
Hypohydro.
hypohydrophilus
Phyllis
pollination
flower.
is possible, right? What about the lotus? Lotus कैसा
Yeah, it
होता है?
floats.
Yeah, so it is what? Hypohydrophily.
Okay.
Okay, so lotus is a life example, right? Which
Yes.
everybody see nowadays.
Yes.
Okay, this is the thing. Now the next type of an hydrophily is the epihydrophily.
Epihydrophilus.
Yes, first we study hypohydrophily, now we are studying epihydrophily. Now
Yes.
in this, pollination occurs on the surface of water itself. Now you will be
Yes.
confused little bit, that is below.
Yes. Below the water surface.
Below means what? Under. Okay.
हाँ.
और ये क्या है? Epi, on the surface.
On the surface.
बराबर? So
Yes.
the thing is that if you will think about lotus, Akansha, my question is, so it is
Then it will come epihydrophilus.
water hyacinth.
Means?
Have you heard water hyacinth Icornia?
No.
No. See, whenever we are going across the water ponds or water
Yes.
lakes, okay, if they are getting polluted, all right, Akansha, there are certain plants you might have saw that. I will be showing you the picture. I'll download the picture and I'll show you. Okay,
Okay.
those plants are present inside the water. All right, even they have a flowers. All right. So in that kind of a thing, in that kind of an water hyacinth or Eichhornia plants, it is a best example of hypohydrophilus.
Okay.
Okay, because they are present below the water
Below the
surface.
water surface.
Okay, means inside. All right. Now epi means on the surface.
Surface.
So lotus is a best example.
Yes.
Okay. Now it is most common type of an hydrophily, because most of the plants, if you will observe, they are epi. Okay.
Okay.
Normally the algae or the hydrophytes, which are truly hydrophytes from before itself, they are called as an hypohydrophily because they are present inside the water, right?
Okay.
So the example is what? Sorry, Vallisneria, what it is called as in Vallisneria.
Snaria.
Yes, this is a plant which is present, which is an best example of the epihydrophily. Now
Okay.
this you should remember according to the CT and NEET point of view. If in board exam, if you don't remember Vallisneria, you can easily write down the lotus plant also.
Lotus.
All right. Now this
Yes.
Vallisneria is a dioecious plant. That is, male and female are present or produced on separate plant.
Yes.
So can you tell me whether it is a bisexual or unisexual?
Unisexual.
Very good. Okay. So
Yes.
unisexual is also called as an
Dioecious.
dioecious plant. Okay. And
Yes.
bisexual is also called as an monoecious.
Monoecious.
Understood, Akansha?
Yes.
Yes. At the time of maturity, the male flower are detached from the male inflorescence. All right. And begin to float on the water surface. Now, what it is, male and female flowers are separate in this, right? Am I right? So the thing is, whenever the androecium get mature, all right, what happen? They start what they will do, they will also start floating on the water surface because pollination is necessary, isn't
Yes.
it? All right. अब जब कभी भी ये हाइपोहाइड्रोफिली था, जब ये बिलो दी वाटर सरफेस में था, अंदर था, तो उसके पोलन ग्रेन्स आके फ्लोट करते थे, बराबर है? ऑल राइट, समझ में आया?
हाँ
और
हाँ.
है कि नहीं, उनके पोलन ग्रेन्स आके फ्लोट करते थे, इसलिए हमने उसका स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी भी देखा, राइट? लेकिन जब ये एपी हाइड्रोफिली की बात आती है, ये सरफेस पे है, बराबर है कि नहीं? तो ये सरफेस के होने बावजूद भी जो कोई भी मेल फ्लावर्स है, बराबर है, flowers पे present है, so what are they going to do? They are going to what? They are going to make their individual floral whorls to float on the water. Why to float on the water? So that pollination can carry out easily. Understood?
Okay.
If for example हमारा लोटस प्लांट बाजू बाजू में है, बराबर है,
हाँ.
कोई भी लोटस प्लांट सिर्फ एक होता है पॉन्ड में, ऐसा नहीं है, बहुत ज्यादा ऑक्यूपाई करता है, राइट? इट इज
हाँ.
काइंड ऑफ एन runner and stolen kind of an plant which is getting very easily spreadable into the water, isn't it? So the thing is
Yes.
what, when it get easily spreadable into the water, if any time the pollination is not possible, right, via wind or any kind of an thing, isn't it? एंड डेफिनेटली इसमें विंड और इससे तो होना नहीं है क्योंकि ये वाटर वाला है,
हाँ.
राइट? तो इसका क्या होने वाला है, जैसे ही रिप्रोडक्शन का टाइम होगा, जैसे ही मेल एंड फीमेल फ्लावर मैच्योर हो जाएंगे, वो क्या हो जाएंगे, वो डिटैच्ड हो जाएंगे उस फ्लावर से। डिटैच माने सेपरेट हो जाएंगे, और सेपरेट हो जाने के बाद वो क्या हो जाएंगे, अपने आप फ्लोट करने लगेंगे, राइट?
Okay.
So whenever they are floating, definitely there is a fertilization reproduction activity is going to carried out, isn't it, Akansha?
Yes.
Right. So that's why they have said that whenever the male flower get mature, okay, they get detached and they start floating on the water surface. When it comes
Yes.
to the male flower, sorry, female flower, okay, at the time of the maturity, they get coiled, they get long pedicel. Long pedicel, pedicel means what? The stick of the flower.
Stock. Yeah.
Yes, their stalk, barabar. So in
हाँ.
scientific way, the stalk and stick, the name it is called as an pedicel. So the
Pedicel.
thing, yes. So the what happened? The pedicel get increase in size, that is, it become long, and it undergo what? It undergo uncoiling at the time of the maturity. Means जब कभी भी ये फीमेल फ्लावर भी क्या करता है, वो डिटैच्ड हो जाता है, सेपरेट हो जाता है अपने खुद के फ्लावर से। जब वो सेपरेट होता है, that time it is in a coiled manner, right? and the pedicel is too long. So whenever they get detached, what happen? Whichever the female flowers are in a coil, they start uncoiling it to their own self. Understood? And after uncoiling it, it is representing the female flowers are representing themselves that now we have reached the stage of the maturity.
Okay.
Understood, Akansha? This
Yes.
male flower, what do? Which are floating on the water, they surround the female flower and undergo anthesis. Okay. What is the meaning of an anthesis? Formation of pollen
Formation of pollen grains at maturity.
maturity. Okay. Due to which pollen grains are deposited on stigma and female flower and cross pollination is achieved. Understood? Now one thing
Yes.
you should remember, this technique is called as an what? Natural emasculation technique.
Oh,
Normally, we do the artificial emasculation technique, and hence this is called as a natural emasculation technique because the anther have been what? They themselves have been went under the maturity, and they have deposited their own pollen grains on the stigma of the female flower. And they have what? They have achieved the cross pollination, means they have carried out the pollination activity.
yes.
Understood? हमने अगर एंथर निकाला होता तो वो आर्टिफिशियल कहते हम, तो उसे
हाँ,
हम इमेस्कुलेशन टेक्निक कहते हैं, बराबर? वो मैंने आपको
हाँ,
आर्टिफिशियल वे में समझाया था। लेकिन
हाँ.
ये क्या है, इसमें नेचुरली इमेस्कुलेशन होता है जिसे हम कहते हैं नेचुरल इमेस्कुलेशन टेक्निक. सो इमेस्कुलेशन इज आल्सो कॉल्ड एज एन एंथेसिस.
Okay.
अंडरस्टूड? जहां कहीं पे भी एंथेसिस आया, यू शुड रिमेंबर इट इज अ रिमूवल ऑफ एंथर, is called as an
Okay.
anthesis or emasculation technique. Understood, Akansha?
Yes.
We have studied till now pollinating agents. There are two types of pollinating agents, biotic and abiotic.
Probiotic.
Yes, pollinating agents have been divided into three. All right.
Yes.
Insect pollination is called as in Akansha.
Entomorphosis.
Huh. Yes, entomophilous flowers. Okay, means
Yes.
entomophily. Okay, so the pollination is called as an entomophily. If
Philly.
I'll ask you that pollination of insect, the flower is called as an, so you should say entomophilous.
Phyllis.
Okay,
Yes.
bird pollination is called as an
Orthromophilus.
ornithophily.
Ornithophily.
I asked you pollination, right? The
Yeah, pollination.
ornithophily. The
Ornithophily.
yes, bat,
Sid.
chiraptero.
Chirapterophily.
Yes, okay. Now abiotic. Abiotic has been divided into two.
Two.
First one is via wind. It is called
When.
as in, the pollination is called as in
Anitomoph.
anemophily.
Anemophily.
Yes. And the
Anemophily.
second, yes, and the second one is
Hydrophily.
hydrophily has been divided into how many?
Two.
First,
Uh, Epihydrophily
yes, and
and hypohydrophily.
epihydrophily is present below the surface or on the surface.
On the surface.
Barabar.
Yes.
Example,
Lotus.
and Vallisneria.
Vallisneria.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. Now let us move further. We have completed with the pollinating agents. Now this is a distinguish between, Akansha. All right. This distinguish between I have kept for self and cross pollination. Usually it is asked in exams, so students are always confused what we should write it, right?
Yes.
So I made this distinguish between. It is very good if it is asked in exam, or sometime
Yes.
it is said give the differentiating characters or give the unique character about the self pollinating and cross pollination. You can write
Yes.
any of the pollination, right? We
Okay.
everybody know the pollination of the flower is carried out from same flower or from another flower but on the same plant, right? It is called as
Self-pollination.
in self pollination. In the
Yes.
self pollination, only one plant is involved. All right,
Yes.
because same plant is there, so only one plant is involved. It is a
Yes.
very sure method of pollination. All right, definitely the pollination is going to happen. Okay, external pollinating agents are not required because pollinating is done on the same plant for its own self. So that's
Yes.
why none of the external pollinating agents are required. Pure variety will be obtained, means what? Naturally variety will be obtained. None of the artificial variety has been coming under that. All right,
Okay.
that's why it has been said pure variety is present. Desirable characters cannot be introduced, means like I am telling you that we can do the artificial technique also. So in this only the natural pollination can be done, no artificial pollination can be done in this. All right,
Okay.
that's why you and I, means if I decided that I want a purple flower or if I want a black color flower, it is not possible to get into the self pollination because
Yes.
it is one of the pure natural
Form of
technique.
pollination.
Yes, natural technique of the pollination. Undesirable characters can be eliminated. The nature is so much strict in this self pollination that if I try to introduce some of the artificial technique also, the artificial technique will not be accepted by the flowers.
Okay.
Understood? It is going to thrown out or the flower is not going to accept it. That's why they have said undesirable, means any kind of an artificial technique will be not tolerated in this.
Okay.
Understood? Into the
Yes.
cross pollination, the flower, the pollination is of a flower or plant with pollen grains with some another flower of a plant. Okay, cross pollination
Yes.
means what? The pollination is done but on some other plant of the plant species, right?
Yes.
The two plants are involved. All right,
Yeah.
means even the male is required and even the female is required, and both the different plants are required, right?
Yes.
On a same, one self pollination, everybody are present, male and female are present on same thing.
Together.
सो
Yeah.
टुगेदर तो कोई भी दूसरे के आने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती,
Yes.
राइट? यहाँ से सेपरेटली आता है, इसलिए दो प्लांट्स को साथ में इन्वॉल्व करना पड़ता है. It is not sure method of pollination, right?
Okay.
Because the pollen grains are flying, some of the pollen grains will damage, some of the pollen grains will not be of its own plant, some of the pollen grains will be of the different plants. So it is not a
Yes.
sure method कि pollination होगा ही.
Okay.
External pollinating agents are required. Okay, plant bodies are different. So either if it will be require insects, it will be requiring a water, or sorry, it will be requiring a wind, it will be requiring bird or bat. So external pollinating agents are required. All right.
Yes.
Hybrid variety can be obtained. आर्टिफिशियल पॉलिनेटिंग हम इस पॉलिनेशन हम इसमें इजीली कर सकते हैं क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन में.
Okay.
डिजायरेबल क्वालिटी, अगर मैंने सोचा मुझे ब्लैक कलर का रोज चाहिए तो मैं वो कैरेक्टर ऐड
हाँ वो
करके
कर सकते हैं.
मैं कर सकती हूँ इसमें, तो मुझे जो चाहिए डिजायरेबल कैरेक्टर मुझे मिलेगा. अनडिजायरेबल कैरेक्टर कैन बी एलिमिनेटेड. ओके, अगर मुझे ऐसा मुझे थोड़े दिनों बाद लगा रहे मुझे अभी काले कलर का रोज नहीं प्रोड्यूस करना है, आई वांट टू
हाँ.
प्रोड्यूस सम अदर कलर रोज, सो आई कैन डू
हाँ.
दैट आल्सो. Okay,
Yes.
so you can put and you can remove also in this. So normally
Yes.
this is cross pollination, it is very good for doing artificial techniques, and in self pollination the artificial technique won't be tolerated. All
Okay.
right, Akansha, so this is the thing. Now the next thing which we are going to study, that is what? That is a outbreeding device. All right. So maybe we will be doing in a next lecture after your vacations, and it will be finishing soon. All right. So see, we have a outbreeding devices. In that we will be studying dicogamy, protandry, protogamy, which we have already studied it today.
Yes.
Right? Even you know the meaning of dioecious and monoecious also, because we
Yes.
studied just now. All right, only
Yes.
in this is a difference which is showing monoecious and dioecious. We have to study about the development of embryo. Okay,
Okay.
and in that development of embryo you will be studying about the cotyledons, and then I'll be making you to study seed and fruit development, difference between monocot and dicot seed I'll be showing you.
Okay.
What is the significance, why we studied this? Okay, why we studied the significance and fruits of seeds, and we will be studying about apomixy, polyembryony, and parthenocarpy.
Okay.
All right, that's it, and hence it will be finishing of the chapter. This
Okay.
are the, after that they are, these are the diagrams. And these are the pictures which I'll be showing you. And then this is my assignments which I normally give it to the students. Okay.
Okay.
And this is a part of the assignments, okay, which I have already given you. Okay.
Okay.
From this I'll be putting something into the exams. All
Okay.
right, so it is present into my slide itself. So the thing is, we will be dealing with all these things in next lecture. We will be finishing this. All right, Akansha.
Okay.
And soon I will be putting the test on this. So in your vacations, you will study all these things, because the thing is that only I'm remaining with the seed and fruit development, monocot and dicot seeds, and all
Yes.
the basic with polyembryony, parthenocarpy.
Okay.
Okay. So the thing is that you start studying about it, right?
Yes.
So major part of our chapter has been already completed. In the
Yes.
next lecture we will be completing our chapter after the vacations when you will come. All right.
Yes.
And I'll be giving the test questions to the sir, so sir will be taking your test, so you be prepared for the test.
Okay.
Okay, you start preparing for the test itself, because the thing is, after, if you don't get time much, then because normally we have lecture on Friday and Saturday,
Yes.
right? So after vacation when you will come, maybe your lecture will be again on Friday itself.
Okay.
Okay, so Friday your test will Friday I'll complete this chapter, Sunday there will be your test.
Okay.
All right, so this is a thing, it will be going to run out, so it's better you study into the vacations. All
Okay.
right, you send me your mail ID, I'll be
Yes.
sending you this PowerPoint
Yes.
presentation.
Yes.
All right, so be prepared according to each and every way. Okay, sometime I give you the diagram, because see, in this you might have saw in my slides what I do, and maybe in CBSE they ask the questions also in this manner. That is, I put questions in this way. This is a diagram of ovule, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anatropous ovule. And I'll give
Yeah.
you this thing. Some of the it has been labeled, and some of the things you need to label it.
Okay. Okay.
This is a diagram of whose?
Uh, Gynoecium.
Uh-huh. No.
Ovary.
See into your test book. Page number 10.
Yes, it is female only, no?
Yeah, but what it is, tell me. Page number 10. Which of the
Double
diagram?
fertilization.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a diagram of double fertilization, and you have to
Okay.
label it. Right? So
Okay.
A is what, Akansha? A.
Pollen grain.
B.
Stigma.
C.
Style.
Is it styled here? It has been germinated from pollen grain.
Pollen
What?
tube.
Very good. And what
Germline.
is, yes, what is the D? There are 3 cells at last, 2 cells
Yes.
laterally, in between egg cell.
So you are pointing at 2 cells or
See,
like
if you will see, this is one cell which is named as same, and
yes.
this is also named same, isn't it?
Yes.
है ना? तो फिर ये क्या है, ये दोनों के नाम भी सेम है, तो इसलिए मैंने,
Synergids.
यस, तो इसलिए मैंने एक ही के पास पॉइंट किया है.
Okay. Okay.
ओके,
Okay.
अगर मैं आपको यहाँ पे मिडल में अगर ये करती एरो खींचती, तो it will be egg
Excel.
cell. And if I would have done in middle, this 2 central cells, they are called as a
Secondary cell.
secondary cell, which is called as a
Polar
polar
nucleus.
nucleus. And upper side में अगर मैं किसी के एक के पास कर दूं, तो
Antipodal cells.
very good. So this will be a type of an technique which I'll be using it, or sometime I put in this way also.
Okay.
All right, I have given the words towards down, and you have to just put it on this box.
Okay.
Okay, sometime I write it down the words also, like A, this has been germinated on stigma, so this diagram is named as in dash, so you should write down what is the name of this diagram.
Okay.
All right, so these are the techniques
Yes.
which we use it, right? So that's why you need to see about it, right, dear?
Okay.
So the thing is, you start studying after vacation. I'll be finishing one lecture, and I'll be finishing all these things, and
Okay.
what after that we will be having a test soon. We will be having
Okay.
a test. All right, dear. And after this, I'll be starting with the chapter which is inheritance and variations. Do you have a textbook, dear?
Yes.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay.
All right. Okay, still
Yes.
I'll be concerning with sir that what sir wants, whether I should go with the reproduction in lower and higher animals, because again it is one of the most major chapter and lengthiest chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why, and I'll talk with sir. Either I'll be starting with this or with inheritance and variations. All
Okay.
right, dear. Any kind of inquiries, Akansha, in today's lecture?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Study. I'll be putting some homework questions soon.
Okay.
All right. But now my homework questions will be randomly. Please draw
Okay.
the diagrams. Now you have got to know. Right.
Okay.
So please draw the diagram if it is asked or whether it is not asked. Right.
Okay.
And be proper with your answers and everything. Give
Yes.
me your mail ID. I'll be sharing with you the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Akansha.
Yes.
Okay, dear. Thank you for attending the lecture. Have a nice day ahead. Take care.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye bye.